Do you like a podcast? I do. And if you're listening to this, then obviously you do enjoy podcasts, but perhaps you're watching it on YouTube and haven't really thought about podcasts in a while. Well, this week I'm going to dive into ADHD podcasts. Yes, I thought I'd bring some other information to you because sharing is caring and I love to share. So if you're new here, welcome. I'm Lorna. And you're watching or listening to Accidentally Awesome with ADHD. If this isn't your first time here, then welcome back. We're glad to see you. So yes, I love a podcast. I write for a magazine, and one of the things I do is actually recommend podcasts each month. So I listen to a lot of different podcasts. And since I got my ADHD diagnosis, I've dived in and actually went out of my way to find some ADHD based ones. So I'm going to share my favourites with you. And I hope that you'll perhaps look into them as well. And obviously, if you like podcasts, this is available as a podcast if you're watching it on YouTube. One of the reasons I like podcasts, before we get into the ones that I'm going to tell you about, is that it's in your pocket, isn't it? It's on your phone. It's easy to access and you don't need to be tied down anywhere. So I kind of use it as a body double, which is a term we use for ADHD when we're wanting to get something done, but perhaps need somebody to sit with us to do it. So yeah, it's been a sort of pairing thing that I've done for years before I even knew I had ADHD. So if I had a job that I had to do in the house that I wasn't really excited about, things like putting away the washing or cleaning bathrooms and all of those horrible chores that we've got to force ourselves into, I would stick on a podcast and I would always feel like, I would focus on that and just get the chore done. So I've been a huge podcast fan for years. And I was really, really excited to find some ADHD ones that resonated with me. The first one I'm going to talk about is Women and ADHD by Katie Weber. Or yes, it is Katie Weber. She's an American lady and she interviews people either with ADHD or who specialise in helping and treating ADHD. And the first episode I listened to of hers, I was driving about, I had to do something in the car and I had it on instead of the radio and I found myself talking to it. I was like, yes, that's me. Oh, yes, I understand that. And it really, really hit a chord with me. She was also diagnosed as she was older. I think she was either 44 or 45 when she received her diagnosis for ADHD. So, you know, I'm right in her demographic, but she's had some fantastic people on, like Sari Solden, who talks about radical acceptance. She also had on, she's had on a few people that have written books, and I'm trying to remember who they are, but she just talks to random people, you know, nobody famous or known for doing X, Y, or Z, just because they have expertise in ADHD. And many of these women also have ADHD, so they're coming at it from both angles, that they understand what it's like to have ADHD, but they're also working towards supporting and helping other women or children or families with ADHD. So that's a really good one to check out. So Women with ADHD. The next one I stumbled onto just recently, and I love this. It's ADHD Women's Wellness Podcast by Kate Moore Youssef. She's an English woman based in the UK, obviously, or not obviously, because I'm Scottish and I live in Australia. So yeah. Anywho, she is I think she's an energy practitioner. She does EF, the tapping. But she's also a coach for ADHD, as is Katie in Women and ADHD. But hers is all about wellness for ADHD And it's fascinating. So again, she's interviewing some women who have ADHD themselves, or wellness specialists who help to treat people with ADHD. And again, I just found her content amazing. Just fascinating to sit and listen to, really enjoyable and educational content. And she's got quite a lot of episodes out. The Women in ADHD podcast, the first one I mentioned, I think it's over 180. ADHD women's wellness hasn't been going on for quite as long, but plenty of episodes there to sit down and enjoy. The next one, if you're on Instagram, you may already know this lady. It's Jamie, who is the Neurodivergent Nurse. And I first found her on Instagram. I love her Instagram page. She gets it. She just knows ADHD. And being a nurse, she's experiencing... She feels like she's found a really good niche for herself as far as employment goes. And yeah, she talks about health, well-being, ADHD, and also just being a nurse in general. So I would recommend you go and have a look at her. And there's two others that if you're into ADHD at all and educating yourself and listening to things, these are the two I would imagine that you would know. ADHD for Smart-Ass Women by Tracy Osuka. And yeah, she's phenomenal. She is a lawyer or solicitor by trade, so to speak. And when she found out she was ADHD, like a lot of us do, she took a deep dive into it, and she is very keen to educate other women, help raise them up, and give them the tools that they need. And yeah, she's also got a Facebook group, which I'm part of, and I think a lot of us women are. And yeah, the last one is I Have ADHD by Kristen Carter. Anyway, I'll link to all of these down below so you can look at them yourself. This is a new one to me. It was actually suggested to me by a small group of ADHD ladies that I get together with to try and help keep ourselves on track with our businesses. So I'm still getting into this and still listening to it, but they raved about Kristen. They said that she's really good. So there's another one that we can get stuck into. So yeah, 5 different ADHD podcasts for you to listen to enjoy, and hopefully at least one of them will really resonate with you. If you listen to other podcasts, I'd love to know. I'm always looking out for different things to listen to myself, and just get the word out there for other people, because we're all about educating. Sharing is caring, as I said before. So yeah, I hope that gives you a little bit of inspiration on some new listening. And if you haven't already tried listening to a podcast, do it as a body double. Pop it on, have a listen when you're doing those boring chores, and you'll be surprised at how much easier they are. So anyway, friends, have a great one, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye-bye.